Hello, I'm Fiona Curie from Style Liberation and the founder of the Facebook group 35 Plus Where to Shop. We help women 35 plus to create a wardrobe full of outfits that they absolutely love without having to start from scratch. So, this phrase, my body is a weird shape, is a phrase that we hear at Style Liberation quite a bit. We hear it when we have initial conversations with clients. Hey, Mary, great to see you. And it's also a conversation or remarks that we overhear when we are taking clients shopping. And we overhear this in change rooms all the time. And I tell you what, I know Christy and Emma and myself, we just want to grab these women and give them a big hug and say, you know what? This is not about you having a weird body shape at all. And so that's what I want to chat through today. Um, that frustration with not finding something that fits you is nothing to do with your body shape. It's more to do with we haven't been given the tools or taught what to look for in order to dress ourselves and our unique shape. And we're all different. And I guess that's what I want to say as well, is that we all come in lots and lots of different shapes and sizes. We come in different heights, we come in different widths, we have different vertical proportions, we have different scale, face shape, we have different colors. And so, what often happens is when we are looking for pieces that work for us, we blame ourselves when something doesn't fit. And what I want to say is take that away. And I want you to rephrase it and rethink about it, because when something doesn't fit, it's not about you, it's actually about the garment. Because if you think about our retailers and designers and brands and things like that, when they're making items of clothing, they're working off certain proportions, or they're working off sort of particular mannequins and things like that. And so they've got a particular shape or proportions in mind, and that doesn't necessarily work for everybody. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that it's not a one size fits all. Because we're all so different, it's not a one size fits all. And actually, it would be completely boring if we were all a carbon copy and clone of each other as well. So, what we find is we find different brands, different retailers, different manufacturers will all create different sort of shapes and styles for varying body shapes and styles as well. So, this is the sort of thing, just because one particular cut or style of garment doesn't work for you, doesn't mean that another one won't. So it's very much about finding those cuts and shapes and styles that are going to be perfect for you. For example, for me, as a triangle body shape, we're proportionally smaller on the top half of the body than the bottom half. And I don't know why I was trying to go for some sort of grab there. But for me, if I try and go for something that's too boxy and straight and doesn't show off my waist, it's not the most flattering look for me. Whereas someone who is more of a rectangle shape, rectangles still have that gorgeous waist, it's just usually a little bit more raised. A shift or straighter style on them can often look amazing. But again, it will depend on their style personality. They also might have more of a feminine or sultry style personality. So for them, with a raised waist and ruching around that waist in a dress would be absolutely fabulous for them as well. It's also not enough just to think about horizontal body shape. And I think it's something I mentioned just in the commentary above. And what I mean by that is, yes, we can define ourselves, and we do use these varying body shapes to describe, I guess, our proportions. But it's not enough just to know whether or not you're a triangle, a rectangle, an hourglass, a diamond, or a round, because that's only one part of your overall body architecture. So when you're looking to find things that fit for you and work for you, that's just one piece of the puzzle. You also need to look at your vertical proportions. You also need to see where your waist sits. You also need to think in terms of other prominent features that you might have, as well as face shape, your scale, and things like that. So this is only just one part of that particular puzzle. And I call this a puzzle because we're all different and we're all made up of different parts. The other thing that you don't just want to focus on either is one particular area, like, and I call it the boobs, bums, and tums section, because they're usually the parts of our bodies that we sort of focus on and then either try to work around or we're trying to like cover up. And we say, no, it's about enhancing these parts of our body and streamlining other features. So if we just focus, for example, only say on finding things that fit our bust, sometimes we lose that opportunity then to create beautiful waist shaping. And we see it time and time again where we have people fit things around the bust area, but then it literally sits from under the bust and just goes quite straight and doesn't show off our gorgeous clients' beautiful waists. Again, if you are just focusing on your hip area, often what happens we find is that our clients go for things that are baggy down the bottom half. And what happens, especially if they're trying to create a beautiful hourglass shape or an inverted triangle shape with their body, then what happens is they end up creating more of a rectangle or column shape because they're going for something baggy on top and baggy on the bottom, and then again losing their gorgeous waist. So again, what we actually really want to do is focus on creating what we call balance and proportion and creating one of these three shapes with our bodies and the clothes that we put on. And so one of the three shapes we might want to create is the hourglass shape or the inverted triangle shape or our beautiful rectangle shape as well. And this is where we need to sort of start and focus on, not necessarily focusing on the boobs, bums and tums, but focusing on our overall look. And I guess the example I give here, especially when I go pants shopping with clients who have gorgeous curves in the hips and also around the thigh area. And what will often happen is they'll put on a pair of pants that might be a little bit more like a stretch ponte or a skinny jean and things like that. And the first thing that they focus on is focusing on that hip area and the leg area and the thigh area. And what they start to notice is when we look at the overall picture in terms of, you know what, we've gone for something streamlined and skinnier on the bottom half. So rather than just focusing there, if we look at the entire picture and we put on a top that adds a little bit of volume on the sleeve or the shoulder line, or it creates a little bit more volume around the bust area, they then start to notice that the top and the bottom half of the body look the same and in proportion. And all of a sudden you've created this gorgeous hourglass shape. So instead of focusing or looking on one particular part of our body, we need to see what's happening overall. Because what's visually pleasing to the eye and what looks really great is creating that balance and proportion. And if you can look at yourself objectively in the mirror and look at the whole picture, it becomes much easier to get dressed and find things that really work for you in terms of that. So these are just a couple of examples of what those different shapes might look like. So for example, our hourglass, and traditionally we know that what that looks like, it's really just about having that waist shaping coming through. So it doesn't have to be super cinched. Any sort of waist shaping at all will create that beautiful hourglass shape. Our inverted triangle shape doesn't have to be all 80 shoulder pads and big blazers. It can be a beautiful waterfall cardigan over some skinny jeans. And also in terms of our rectangle shape, it's just more of that straight up and down look that we're going for in terms of that. So what I'd love you to take away today is to think and to reframe that idea that when something doesn't work for you in a change room, don't put that on yourself. It's not about you. I guess retailers and brands are catering for so many different shapes and sizes. So what will work for one person and will be absolutely perfect for them may not be right for you. And what is perfect and right for you will not always be right for somebody else. And this idea that you've got people out there that everything looks good on them is a little bit of a myth when it comes to that. There'll be particular styles that are really great for some and not for you, and really great for you and not for somebody else. So please don't be hard on yourself around that. What I'd love to do is I would love to invite you to find out more and to learn more about creating balance and proportion along with style, personality, and also color, is to join us next Wednesday, the 16th, or if you can't make Wednesday, Thursday, the 17th of March at 8 p.m., and that's Australian Eastern Daylight Time, to join us for our masterclass, the Wardrobe Revamp. So I've put the link above. And so what you're doing is we are going to share the 3 secrets to creating outfits that you absolutely love. So one of them might be something about creating proportion, but you'll find out what the other 2 are as well. So we'd love to invite you to join you then. And I can see Kate saying, my shape has changed after a reaction to a job and a drug, sorry. It could be also be a reaction to a job, but also a drug. So Kate, yes. So when shapes and things change, the things that you may have worn in the past that you will have been used to wearing can sometimes change. And we find that that can happen in transitions with our bodies as well through pregnancy and also menopause. So it's almost like you're relearning the shapes and styles that'll be perfect for you. So it's taking some time to play around with that to see what really works for you. And we would love to help you along with that as well. So thank you so much for joining me today. And if you've got any questions, I'll be around if you want to pop them in the comments as well. Take care, everyone. Bye.